Elephant Man, She-Hulk Villain Origins. Hello and welcome to another marvelous video. Marvel's most recent attempt to turn a beloved comic book character into a television series aims to both differentiate itself from the studio's successful franchise and incorporate enough of its defining elements to maintain fans' interest. Yes, we are talking about She-Hulk, Attorney at Law. Although it's too early to pass a judgment on the show, it's never too early to check out one of her strongest enemies. Elephant Man, also known as Behemoth, was a former proprietor of a prosperous hydraulics business that Stark Enterprises ultimately forced out of business. Behemoth, real name Manfred Haller, developed a giant elephant-like power suit with hydraulics from his company to explore hazardous, uncharted regions of the world. We will be taking a look at his origin story and what powers and abilities he possesses. So let's start. But before we get into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a whole lot. So thank you, and let's begin. Exploring the journey of Elephant Man. The Savage She-Hulk number 17, titled Make Way for the Man-Elephant, introduced Man-Elephant, a character created by David Anthony Kraft, Mike Vosberg, and Frank Springer in 1981. Hydraulic specialist Haller initially developed the Man-Elephant battlesuit to save lives and help construction workers and explorers survive in dangerous terrain. The issue's story is a continuation of the ongoing main tale. She-Hulk is alleged to have killed Jill Stevens. In Savage She-Hulk number 2, Jill lost her life in a car accident. Issue 17 begins with Sheriff Morris Walters stepping up his efforts to apprehend the She-Hulk, while his beau, Beverly Cross, tries to find somebody to buy the Walters house for the highest possible price, which is out of Jennifer's price range. Richard Rory notices the potential buyer and suspects them, so he takes down their license plate number. Buck Bukowski discovers that Jennifer Walters' car, the focus of the She-Murder-Hulk's charges, has been tampered with. At the same time, Jen tries to reconcile with Zapper, transforms into She-Hulk, and the two get out. Meanwhile, Manfred Haller, the owner of Haller Hydraulics, decides to use his powerful man-elephant costume to aid in the capture of the She-Hulk. Manfred expected the publicity to endorse the suit. Haller explains his suit's abilities, which we will explain later. For the moment, just remember his suit granted him the skill set and the strength of an elephant. Haller encounters She-Hulk while she is out with Zapper and the two fight. Parallelly, Buck has taken his findings to Sheriff Walters, who reluctantly agrees that She-Hulk is not guilty of any crimes. Elephant Man quite easily captures She-Hulk by gassing her unconscious while holding her tight with his suit's powerful hydraulic-aided elephant arms. As Elephant Man carries an unconscious She-Hulk to the sheriff's office, he becomes complacent, and he loses his grip, allowing She-Hulk to burst out of his arm and land deadly blows, which causes damage to the suit's hydraulic system. After all, She-Hulk was more aggressive and more agile than he was. The battle between She-Hulk and the Elephant Man comes to an end when Haller surrenders after realizing the dangers his battlesuit can cause. Sheriff Morris informs the media that She-Hulk has been cleared. After this incident, Man-Elephant's story progressed in Volume 2, Issue 25. The story begins with Manfred Ellsworth, who has experienced hardship. After Tony Stark forced him out of business, his Man-Elephant armor was the only thing left to him. The Man-Elephant had made his way to Timbuktu to seek wisdom after giving up his human identity. When he arrives, some terrified locals who are weary of the Tuareg rebels approach him. They beg him to assist when he declines because that is what the sage old woman in the nearby tower predicted would occur. A blind Indian woman who can paint the vision she sees is what the Man-Elephant finds when he enters the tower. The Man-Elephant becomes persuaded that he has a sixth sense after viewing a painting of the confrontation with the She-Hulk. He is the chosen avatar of the Hindu god Ganesha. He is the elephant god, the wise woman explains. He is then instructed to touch the Satorak gem perched on the elephantine god's brow after being shown a picture of him. As he does, the gem starts to glow, and shortly after that, he is enveloped in light that begins to transform him. Manfred Haller discovers the Behemoth in the new form when the Tuareg rebels show up to terrorize the village. Elephant Man returns in issue 37 to take revenge on She-Hulk. This issue is a bit Nolan-esque in a sense that the narrative timeline shifts from past to present and vice versa. So to understand it better, I will narrate the past events first, which will allow you to understand the fight between Behemoth and She-Hulk. The story begins in the present, and we see Man-Elephant and She-Hulk face off in the middle of a storm. The story begins to shift to the past here. The Justice Department imprisons She-Hulk for transgressing international boundaries. She is taken aback because she hadn't hired a lawyer and believes this is a government-selected attorney. However, she is cut off mid-rant when she realizes that the Mallory book of Goodman, Lieber Kutzberg, and Book is the actual attorney in question. Mallory informs Jen that she has come to represent her in court, not to celebrate the defeat of her rival. Mallory's arrival astounded She-Hulk, who is further perplexed when Book informs her that she is free to leave. Book gets frustrated because Jennifer is having a hard time accepting it and announces to her that she is leaving in a limo in 5 minutes and that if Jen is not there, she's going to leave without them. She-Hulk is shocked to learn it is true and joins Mallory in her limo. She-Hulk had not anticipated that a release would be granted so quickly. Mallory explains that she will represent Jennifer in court and obviously prevail because she is the best attorney out there. She also reveals that she will attempt to regain Jennifer's legal license, which is another shocking revelation at the time. Jennifer is being driven across town by Mallory Brooks' limo as Mallory shows her the newspaper headlines praising She-Hulk as a hero. She has received positive press and no one seems to care that she broke the law. She-Hulk finds herself surrounded by reporters who grill her with inquiries as they get to Timely Plaza. Stepping in, Mallory Book informs the journalist that Jennifer will respond to their questions at a later time and leads the way inside. She-Hulk is welcomed with open arms by all of her former co-workers, including the Two-Gun Kid, when she enters the GLK&B offices. Emily Freeman of Freeman Bonding Inc. tries to call Jennifer in the meantime to offer her a new job locating Femme Fatale, a supervillain. Jacinda, who is in there to answer the phone, transforms into She-Hulk so she can accept the position. Back at GLK&B's offices, Book invites Jennifer to return to the company and work there, stating that doing so will give it a huge boost and that everything that happened previously is now in the past. Calling Jacinda to share the news because she is unsure what to do, the Skull Woman expresses excitement while mentioning the bounty job and assures Jen that she has it covered. Jacinda fears she will lose Jen when the call is over. There was a sudden knock on the door, and the person who answers requests for the She-Hulk. When Jacinda answers the door in the form of her best friend using shapeshifting, that's when the Behemoth attacks her. Back in the present, Behemoth continues to pound on the impersonated She-Hulk, asking if she and her friends laughed at his defeat at her hands when he was the armored Man-Elephant, which is a reference to when they met the first time in the Savage She-Hulk issue 17. When She-Hulk claims that he was never mentioned in conversation, the Behemoth becomes enraged and resumes his beating. The Behemoth continues to dominate the She-Hulk, much to his dismay because he expected her to be a more formidable foe. She attempts to convince him that she no longer needs to fight him because she is now a bounty hunter and there is no bounty on him. However, several youngsters in the trailer park observe the battle and encourage her to continue fighting. As a result, the Behemoth throws his opponent against an RV. When this fails to destroy the truck, the Behemoth realizes he is not battling the actual She-Hulk and wants to know who this woman is. He beats Jacinda ferociously until she passes out and transforms back into her regular shape. The story ends with the Behemoth being shocked to learn that he was engaged in Skrull combat. When the children witnessing the fight are told to contact the police, he advises them to do so, and when they praise him as a hero, he concurs. Elephant Man returns in the next issue, which is number 38, and it is also the final issue in Volume 2. Behemoth handed Jacinda over to the government, who put her in a military medical facility to be researched. At the same time, he lurked about in human form in case the real She-Hulk appeared. The story begins with the She-Hulk, who has returned to the United States, accused of crossing international borders after aiding the earthquake-ravaged nation of Myanmar. However, things are looking bright for the heroine now that she is being defended by her former adversary Mallory Brooke, who has also promised to reinstate her law license and previous position. Because it is storming outside, Book demands that Jennifer stay in the Timely Plaza guest suite. Jen is taken aback by the room's splendor, but then she is taken aback by a psychic communication from Jacinda. Jacinda requests that Mallory be sent so that she and Jen may chat alone. Jacinda cautions She-Hulk and claims that she has been apprehended and is set to undergo government experimentation. She advises Jennifer to lie about knowing that Jacinda was a Skrull in order to avoid being detained for harboring an undocumented immigrant. Jacinda regrets not being a better friend, but their conversation is cut abruptly when the medical professional evaluating her starts shocking her. She-Hulk calls her buddy the Invisible Woman when she is unsure of what to do. The Fantastic Four disagree over what to do with the information until Sue agrees to utilize her connections with the government to find out where Jacinda is being detained. Jennifer cuts off her chat with Sue as NSA arrives to interview her. She-Hulk acts dumb when they question her if she was aware of the Skrull posing as her. In the meantime, Jacinda is killed by the electric shocks used by the researchers on her in the government facility. However, when she is alive again a short while later, Chief Dr. Knox orders his staff to obtain a loaded revolver so he may investigate her further. Mallory and the She-Hulk then discover themselves being driven to the location where Jacinda is being detained. Jennifer keeps playing stupid as the NSA operatives keep asking her about the knowledge of the Skrulls they've caught. The NSA operatives bring Mallory and She-Hulk from the observation room to observe the experiments. They question Jacinda, who claims that no one knew her lie. Back in the lab, the physicians learn that she takes longer to resurrect each time they kill Jacinda. She-Hulk can't help but burst through the glass to save her pal as the doctors are about to murder her again. Manfred Haller reveals himself to her and changes into the Behemoth as soon as she hits the ground. He lunges at her, pushing her through the wall and dragging her out of the institution. Before the Behemoth can begin his assault, he is met by the Lady Liberators who have arrived to assist Jennifer. While Thundra is dealing with the Behemoth, the others return to the facility to save Jacinda. They are able to rescue Jacinda from the operation table by using Sue's invisibility skills, and in the confusion and chaos, she disguises herself as Behemoth to escape. She-Hulk returns outside and punches Behemoth into unconsciousness. She praises the Lady Liberators for their assistance after the battle. They are immediately challenged by Mallory Book, who warns She-Hulk that her legal career will be destroyed due to her action. On the other hand, she feels she can get She-Hulk out of difficulty and advises her and her supporters to go while they still can. Mallory subsequently meets with the executives of Fourth Wall Enterprises to inform them that She-Hulk project is a flop and should be abandoned immediately. Given this, while the organization's leaders are sorry that the project had ended prematurely, they are confident that they will continue to ensure that the Fourth Wall remains intact. This is how the Volume 2 of She-Hulk ends, and that's the last we see of Behemoth or Elephant Man to date. He's mentioned briefly in X Factor's issue 240 titled Run Layla Run, which was released in 2012. This is where he takes on Strong Guy, also known as Guido Carosella. Powers and abilities. After acquiring the Satorak gem, which changed into a massive humanoid elephant, Behemoth boasts superhuman strength, durability, and harm resistance. As explained in She-Hulk Volume 2, Issue 33, the Satorak gem, often known as Life Stone, is a religious item. It had previously been in the hands of the Kree Empire, but Kl'rt, the Super Skrull, claimed it belonged to the Skrull Empire. Jacinda was recruited years ago for a quest to collect the jewel. However, she was attacked by Kree warriors and in desperation ingested the gem to prevent Kree from reclaiming it. The stone then permanently linked with her, allowing her to revive after death. Jacinda was shunned and ridiculed by her native tribe and family for failing her purpose. In issue 22, we learn a fragment of a bigger stone was dropped in Timbuktu years ago and was discovered by an ancient sage. When she touched the gemstone, it revealed the name Satorak. Manfred Haller was later handed the jewel, which transformed him into Behemoth. Haller was a successful businessman with excellent knowledge and competence in hydraulics before his change. As Elephant Man, Haller designed an elephant-inspired supersuit. The hide consisted of a rubberized substance that could bear hundreds of pounds of pressure and was able to resist strong blows. The tusks might be used to gouge, rip, or gore, or as a retractable grappling hook. The trunk's tensile strength was significantly greater than that of steel, and it could sense faint scents. A sonic explosion or a knockout gas might potentially be released through the trunk. However, like an elephant, he wasn't very fast or agile, ultimately leading to his downfall when encountering She-Hulk for the first time. Marvelous verdict. The trailers show that Abomination is there in the series, but is he there as the villain? What other villains will show up in the next 2 months? Rumors of Titania and Dr. Doom are circulated on every website and in fan articles, but will we see Elephant Man? He is a major villain, so I'm kind of confident that if he doesn't show up in the actual season, he will eventually. Given that tremendously intricate background, Man-Elephant seems like the ideal figure for any type of She-Hulk illusion, whether a passing nod or an actual cameo. When it comes down to dealing with villains, Hawkeye and She-Hulk are simple to compare. While the tone of both products is entirely different and the protagonists are radically different, it appears that both have similar tendencies when it comes to dealing with antagonists. There were several villains in Hawkeye, all leading to Wilson Fisk. She-Hulk could be able to accomplish something similar. Marvel fans will scream if She-Hulk is the project that finally brings in Dr. Doom, who will most certainly be a prominent villain in the future Fantastic Four feature. As for the Elephant Man, we will just have to wait and watch, I suppose. If you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. So everybody, have a good one, and be safe, and thanks again.